What's up, everybody? This is Ripples in Wales, back for another video. I hope you're all doing well and having a great day wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing. Well, it's Sunday and I've just come out from a run. It was a nice 6 miler this morning. Shout out to my mate Bills. I said I'd give her a shout out today, my little running buddy. Anyhow, we today are going to have a bit of a look at the Ripple Riddler stuff, and we're going to focus on a few of the images that were left. Not so much the videos. We're going to first of all kind of lay a bit of foundation in terms of the images. And the Ripple Riddler left basically two data sets for us. A series of images that were cryptographically infused, and a set of cartoon videos that were also cryptographically orientated. And you've got to look at the whole holistic picture with Ripple Riddler. It's insanely complex to understand. The only parallels that I really can get my head around at the minute with it are, when I look at BG's work, I can start to see patterns and connections of BG's work. But they're done in a very different standard. They're done in a more difficult fashion. BG, whoever they are, they made it far more attainable to the average person because they realised that the Ripple Riddler stuff was just too complex. When you're explaining geopolitical events without the Ross Vandermeer stuff, we'd be really stuck in the wild here. So this is why I always look at every piece of data. We go through BG's work, we look at the Ripple Riddlers, we look at Ross Vandermeer's, we look at Kendra's work sometimes, we go through it all, and then we just try and join the dots. That's all this is. We're not riddlers, we're nothing to do with that. I'm not even a decoder, I don't even class myself that. I find that just grates on me. I'm just a dot connector, and so are you all. And so the idea of stripping off these layers is an available tool to everyone, but we've got to first of all kind of learn to find the whole data set. You cannot do it without the full data set. I'm a scientist and my trade is looking for patterns and things as a day job, and my brain is really well tuned to this kind of stuff, and so could yours be with repetition as well. There's no difference between us all. So none of the Riddler bullshit on this channel. We are going to speak real. We kind of put everything out in a full transparent fashion. We don't leave anything on the table. We don't pretend that we know stuff we don't. We don't hide stuff. We don't put stuff in riddles to make ourselves look cool. We drop all that shit and we just look straight at it all and go through it like fascia by fascia, image by image, and try and dot connect them all back to where the kind of the point of intersection is. Anyhow, the Ripple Riddler was around from 2018 plus, I believe. I did see some of his work. I was around when Sam was doing his original decodes, and it was amazing stuff. If you're looking for a channel that holds all of his videos currently, I'm going to download them all into mine in the future, but this for the time being is a good start. Just type in Ripple Riddler archive or Ripple Riddler into the search engine and you'll find them. But these are some of the videos that he released. I've told you before, the main four to look at, right, as the Declaration of Independence, TikTok, Born of Stars, and the Storms Coming, and they're not in that particular order. But today we're going to be looking at the final broadcast, and the final broadcast was very clever in the way that it was put together because it forced us to look at all the images. Okay, now there were a series of images left, probably before your time if you listen to this. Maybe some of you are around. I don't know. Most of the XRP community these days, especially the ones who are interested in the Riddlers, they're quite new from my feels of the situation. But I know there are some OGs here as well. If you're around with us back in 2018, 19 and 20, we went through a lot of this. We pulled it apart, well, Sam did, and most of my understandings came from Sam, who has a channel called To the Lifeboats. He is an insanely smart chap, and I'd love to get him on the show sometime to have a chat. But most of my knowledge is based upon what the studies that he did on this. He has blazed the trail. There's no one really that's come even close to him, and so any of the stuff that we go through is all credit to Sam. Okay. Anyway, so I said we'd have a look at this video today, final broadcast. But yeah, this is the Twitter channel at Ripples in Wales, where I'm at most of the time. Come and give me a follow on there, and please can you give the video a like Can you subscribe, and can you drop a comment? I want to know what your thoughts are on these videos. If you've got time, great, no worries if not. At least subscribe to the channel. I see like pretty much only like 20% of the people are subscribed. I'm really trying to hit the higher numbers to subscriptions. It'll start boosting the algorithm. So if you're not subscribed, just click a button. It's easy. So that's all it is. Anyhow, let's jump right in. Let's watch this first video, and this is entitled The Final Broadcast. Now, I told you before, when reading riddles and clues, that the most important thing to do, I'm just going to pull this up here, is to look at the thumbnail and the title. We talked about the Declaration of Independence before, and how much is concentrated in this title. Yeah, interesting. I just noticed something new on that now. So we've got in the thumbnail, we've got, you know, this is this chap who was in the movie V for Vendetta, but it's got the anonymous face, and there's many connotations to be taken from this. The anonymous mask came from the Guy Fawkes movement, and Guy Fawkes was I guess you'd call him, maybe these days you'd call him a libertarian who wanted to take down the king and remove the power structure. But, you know, Guy Fawkes is used as a metaphor these days as someone who is maybe an anarchist, who doesn't like the current state of affairs. I think the word anarchist is a terrible description for it. I think libertarian would be a better modern day description, as someone who doesn't like the current power structure that's unfair, and they don't really want the status quo. And there's nothing wrong with that. We live in a very polarized society when there's too much wealth disparity, and I don't feel personally we need a monarchy in any country. I think we've evolved past the need to think that we need a queen bee and a king bee running our country with all their regalia and all their wealth on parade, when we've got disparity in the world. But that's just my personal opinion. They're very good for the tourism sector, I believe, in the UK, but the true monarchy of the UK came from a Welsh origin, a Celtic origin, not the imposters that you see running the show today. I can assure you of that. Anyway, I digress. Let me furthermore explain this picture. So we've got V for Vendetta, and he is from a movie which we'll just look at in Wikipedia in a minute. He symbolized the antithesis of it's in a future movie, and he kind of was fighting against this dystopian leader who had controlled society in Britain, and V was a libertarian person who wanted to see the conclusion of what Guy Fawkes started, which was the destruction of the old oligarchy system. Now, I don't condone any form of violence in society or anything like that. I'm much more of a pacifist personally, but V in his movie symbolized this a bit of a knight always fighting for the underhand. So in the thumbnail you've got this V for Vendetta, and V is also used for anonymous, a cyber hacking fraternity on the internet. And we've got final broadcast. Now, those words are very, very important at the beginning parts of the scene, broadcast being the key thing. We've seen in many iterations of these, and we're going to have a look at another one later on. I must have a look at that shortly. There's another YouTube channel I'll show you before we finish. But anyway, let's watch the final broadcast. And I'm going to interject as we go. Or maybe I'll play it first of all of it, and then we'll come back to it. Emergency broadcast.
It is to Madame Justice that I dedicate this concerto, in honor of the holiday she seems to have taken from these parts, and in recognition of the impostor that stands in her stead. Tell me, do you know what day it is, Evie?
November the 4th.
Not anymore. Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
Right, I just even noticed something new when that was playing. So, let's go back. Really important this. Right? Emergency broadcast. This is not a test. Now, if I want to put my tinfoil hat on with you all, we've been told that we're going to get emergency broadcasts at some point, aren't we? And there's going to be certain things played to the public that would cause the Great Awakening. We could hypothesize that that might be the case, or we could imagine a cyber attack, black swan, whatever. You know, there's 100 things that emergency broadcast may occur. But I wonder whether the deep state may want to pull the plug on the media outlets as the shit really hits the fan. Excuse my French. I think that a lot of stuff is going to come to light over the next few months. I think that it's going to really shake the system, and maybe people's consciousness are going to be given a bit of a kick. So it could be that. That's when everything goes offline, isn't it? Now,
it is to Madame Justice that I dedicate this concerto in honor of the holiday she seems to have taken from these parts, and in recognition of the impostor that stands in her stead. Tell me, do you know what day it is, Evie?
November the 4th.
Not anymore.
now this is a scene playing out in London, and you can see, I think it's St Paul's Cathedral there in London. They're looking across the London skyline, and he's saying, you know, what date is it? It's November the 5th. So there's a connotation to a date here, first of all, and this is V. I've brought him up here. So V is a movie. It's the plot of this film is that in the near future, in Britain is ruled by a Norse fire political party, a fascist and authoritarian regime led by High Chancellor Adam Sutler, which controls populace through propaganda and imprisons and executes those deemed unreliable, including immigrants, homosexuals, and people of alternative religions. Evie Hammond is the daughter of a parent. Well, Evie, it doesn't matter about Evie, but we got one evening a Guy Fawkes masked vigilante V rescues her from an assault on by the secret police and has her witness her destruction of the Old Bailey via bombs. So he blows up the Old Bailey, which is I think it's in London. It's an old like a jury centre, or it's a legal centre. The following morning, on November the 5th, the V hijacks the state-run television network and to address the nation, claiming credit for the attack, it's a bit like the Riddler, the Batman Riddler, encouraging the populace to resist Norse fire, joining outside him in the Houses of Parliament. So I'm going to repeat that. So, encouraging the populace to resist Norse fire, this is the bad leader, by joining him outside the Houses of Parliament on Guy Fawkes Night in 1 year's time. Okay, Evie is knocked unconscious while aiding V's escape, and he takes her with her to avoid the arrest and likely execution. So it's a very good film to watch. Anyway, so 1 year's time, November the 5th. And so if you're unfamiliar, Guy Fawkes Night is a November the 5th in the UK, which is celebrated as a not, you guys would call it a national holiday, but certainly a theme where they burn an effigy. They have big bonfires here, and I think it goes back to the pagan ritual. I think it's been hijacked a bit, but anyway, the chap who tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament back in 1405, was it 14 or thereabouts, he was caught wanting to blow up the Houses of Parliament with King James I, the Houses of Lord, and he was executed for it. Now, by the sounds of things, he was quite a libertarian chap and wanted to reinstate Catholicism onto the throne of the UK, which is a bold move. Anyhow, they made a martyr of him, essentially, and essentially, when you see movements like V for Vendetta, they are promoting the kind of finishing of the job for Guy Fawkes. And this is clear in the Ripple Riddler scene here. And it's not to do with, it's about power. It's a change in power structure. When you're seeing things like this, it's about removing the old guard. I'm just going to shut these windows off because I can hear Discord clicking in the background. Anyhow, you can see that he carries on.
Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
It's a famous. Now, these 4 images. Now, checkmate. Now, the first scene, so I'm going to have to pause this a little bit. See, the first scene is this image, okay? And they're played in chronological order. So this is the timeline that he tells you to look at them in. Got the Wall Street Bull running for the XRP flag. We've got the Riddler sitting on this, the original Batman, I guess you'd call it throne, with kind of wintry vibes around it. And we've got the, yeah, we've got this famous kind of data fed system. And I've just seen for the first time November written in the writings. That just jumped out at me. Anyway, those are the 4. Right. So he's told you those are the 4 images to look at. Right, okay, brilliant. We can just jump straight onto that, can't we? And we know they're in the order that he leaves them in. Now, remember, I've told you there are... Bearable Guy leaves his time... how can I put this? I'm not going to... I hate using the word timeline because there's that prat in the community that has created a timeline and it believes it's his. It's not. There's no other timeline other than these Riddlers. These guys are the only ones to archetype a chronology. We'll use it like that instead. Anyhow, I've told you Bearable Guy scenes run annually from December, and they mark each year in December onwards. Now, December and November are very key months, and these are the order that... I don't know how we can anchor dates into these. I really don't. There is some data organisation in these, but they are highly complex. Anyway, they move 1, 2, 3, 4. You've heard me mention this before. So these are the 4 images that you need to pay attention to. There is another one. There's actually a couple, namely this chap here. We've had a little bit of a look at him before, and but yeah, they are incredibly complex. Right, where to begin? Well, this is the smokes and mirrors scene. And it is again a rather complex little scene, and I must thank oh no, it's not that one, is it? Where are you? Smokes and mirrors, there we go. So my first thought is the only one we really need to have a look at right now is this scene here. I've got a funny feeling these are in the same order as BG's work, and so I'm going to say that this has a similar timeline to the Christmas scene, and this is a similar timeline to the Bearable Guy ship scene. This is what my intuition says to me at the minute. The rest of them would be like, I would look at, you know, December 2024 and November, December 2025. This is what, you know, this is, you know, end of 2023, April, May of 2024, and I'm only guessing. I have no idea. There's not financial advice, so heaven's sakes, don't do anything on the basis of that. It's just me playing around with a few images. But we know this is coming first. He played them in a specific order, so we can have a look at this. Now, this looks a bit different, doesn't it? It's because the actual image is called Smokes and Mirrors. Okay. Now, the image you can see now is mirrored, so you had to mirror it in order to bring out what the message was reading back to front. And you know, that's a common thing to do in mirrored images, is to flip them. Now, this was provided me in the community by a chap called I think it's Right Wabbit at White Rabbit. So thank you for doing that and providing this for me. And to give you a brief overview of this image, because it's the one that's the most important right now, we can see there's a lot of things going on here. Firstly, but you know, it's not so intense that it would makes it so difficult to understand what you've got going on here. You've got the old Riddler, the old kind of banker. We've seen him before in the Ripple Riddler Declaration for Independence movie with, you know, the man who's standing holding the balloon down. It's the same bloody chap. He's got a big pipe under his mouth, and it, you know, kind of lines up with this little bottom square in the window. We've got his silhouette. We've got an ant in smoke on his shoulder, and out of the pipe smoke you can see a dragon. It looks like a dragon. making its way through the scene. I had zoomed in on it a minute ago and had to look, see if I could find anything more on it, but that's pretty much what that I see in those shapes. There is a few other shapes that these are things that Sam brought out in the original image. Anyway, you've got a crow or a raven at the top here. Can be interpreted. Certainly, a crow is interpreted the death of an old system, and the beginnings of a new. Crows pick off the dead bones of people, don't they? So ravens are a very powerful bird. They're interpreted differently, but it's hard to tell what that is. I'm not going to dive too deep on this today, but I'm just going to go across it as quick as I can. You've got the Riddler here, who represents the new banking system, and is donning his hat, and he's connected to this square at the bottom here, which is quite important. I'll go over that in a minute. The background wall is made of bricks, and that can be inferred in a number of ways. One, Masonic, because they were the builders, and you've got the Mason symbol here. This is the only time you'll ever see a Mason symbol in any Riddler's works. Okay, so before certain people in the community go and claim this as to such a win for them, this is the only connotation I've seen in 4 years' research that actually showed Masonic, outright Masonic, kind of in-your-face symbology. Anyhow, you've got a window pane in the centre of the room, and you can't see it on here, but there's a motto on the Riddler's tie, which says in Latin, "Your time is nigh," and there's an important something to take off that, because it means soon, something soon. So let's focus in on this little window here. Now, I used a software to enhance it earlier on, and I believe it is here. Now, I must zoom out a little bit so we can look at it from here. Now, this is the OTC Desk. I used an enhancement software for this, quite useful, I must say. And we've got first of all, on the top here, we've got OTC Trading Desk. Okay, and an OTC trading desk is over the counter. OTC, over the counter, OTC, and that's where the big boys go and buy their crypto. They don't go to exchanges like us. They go straight to the bloody OTC, and they buy it direct from them. So you don't see the price move on the exchanges. This is the thing. It doesn't always connect to that. You've got light, okay, and an entrance here. Okay, so you can see that, what we're saying is you've got the kind of almost a light and an entrance sign here. What else is on the entrances there underneath? Can't quite. Oh shit! Is that a code on there? Haven't seen that before. No, is it? Oh, that'll be interesting if that's a code. I don't think it is, but anyhow, this interesting. You've always got to keep an eye on this chap. A lot is left. Anyway, so they're entering. The big money's entering. Okay, an even more important thing to see here is I've only showed you the bottom 12 panes. Now, if we go back to the image, there's actually 16 panes, but only 12 of them are lit up in highlighted of white, which shows you that he wants you to keep an eye on those. Why would he want you to keep an eye on only 12 panes? What does 12 panes equal? 12 months. We have a calendar, my friends. Imagine that. I keep telling you over and over, everything is very similar in their works. So we can imagine January to December, can't we? January, December, Jan, Feb, March, April. Yeah, you can see it on this one. May, June, July, August. May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Nothing is left to chance. Anyhow, we've got in here the entrance in January. Now, I think that this scene begins as this Christmas scene ends. Okay? This is my intuition on this. It's hard to gauge what's going on with these. Yeah, let's go back to that photo, the enhanced one. We can see there that you've got a little white square in the middle with coin market cap, and you've got a ranking 1, 2, 3. We can see that XRP is the top, Bitcoin is second, Ethereum third. Now, in the center of this, now I've tried to use a enhancer to show that Bitcoin's down at 8,229. That's what it seems. I can't see it. And it's got a comma after the 8. You've got a crash symbol next to the XRP, and you've got that looks like it's supposed to be Ethereum. We can't see the price on any of those; they're whited out. I've zoomed in using this new AI tool on this. I can't see an XXXX valuation on this. I can only see this enormous crash, which is interesting. I don't know really what to draw from that. We've got this dragon in the image here that you can see the from. Right, okay, I'm going to come back to the original image on this now, because we can see, so we've seen that there's a crash in the system. XRP is number 1. We've got the chap's pipe coming out into September. This is the pain of September, October, November, December, and January. The Riddler is donning his hat. You know, I came, I saw, I conquered. It actually says in this tie, your time is nigh. And what your time is nigh was reference to this old banker. He's telling him, your time is up. It's our turn now, and we're taking this new financial system over. This is a done deal. He's donning his hat on him, you know, and it's a British thing to don your hat. Good day, we're done with you. We win. So you can see that there's some sort of crash. Now, Bitcoin being priced at $8,200, showing a crash in CoinMarketCap, and you've got the smoke rising out of the pipe. Now, the interesting thing about the smoke rising out of the pipe in September was this image here. Now, we've decoded this before, we've been over it and dot connected or whatever you want to call it, and the green mist equals FUD, okay? And that was around 9 September. We can bring that up if we like. We've got it in here. I think it's under Ripple Riddler new. Where is it? This one here. It's a great decode. I don't know who did this, so I can't give them the credits. Unfortunately, I don't know who did it years ago. It wasn't left. So we've got September, October, November, and around the hold, the D. There's a writing. Hold on to the iron rod and don't go astray. Mist equals FUD. Mist equals FUD in September. See the mist, the FUD? There's going to be a lot of FUD that comes. So we know that there's mist coming in September. Same things repeated over and over. And then you've got this dragon that comes through here. Now I'm going to have to do a bit more research on this and try and... But the initial kind of understanding is that the big boys are coming in. If it's this January or is it next January? The likelihood, I think this is probably next year. So in January, there's probably going to be full regulations. The doors are going to be open for OTC trading, and we're going to see a bolt. Now, you know, the CoinMarketCap window is kind of seated in kind of, this would be May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. It's very difficult to tell you when this occurs. It's very complex. But maybe it's this September with the FUD, as we're seeing now. And maybe this plays out that we see a bit of a break in the markets. I tell you one thing that I do see a pattern with it is this particular scene, and you know this crash in the coin market cap and the FUD here leads me to believe maybe that they have the OTC, the big boys have already been buying. Okay, they're already, the train has left the station. Okay, we see the similar kind of thing, you know, that's in, you know, there's a hammer over Bitcoin here, the gavel, and regulations coming down. You know, people are calling for a 10k Bitcoin. I do not know if that's going to be the case, but it's interesting to see that on that coin market cap, the Bitcoin's down at 8,200 quid. Pounds, sorry, dollars, whatever you guys are called, quid, sorry, it's slang for pounds in British. But also, you've got the Phoenix rising from the ashes, and then, you know, November, December, the purple sock is posted a little bit higher on the mantelpiece than Bitcoin, and it's posted up between November, December. Now that doesn't mean, you know, that there's going to be a price rise in XRP this season. I would expect to think a lot bit longer. You were still in a bear market, but something occurs between November and December, and you know, we can go back to the video by the Declaration of Independence around this level playing field to show that something moves. Okay. So we can see subtle parallels from this scene here, with, you know, the gavel over Bitcoin, September, and yeah, equally we could have a look back at the calendar to show, like, you know, November, you know, December's the only month without X in it. Let's just make that a note. Every other month has got X's in it. Okay. December is the only one. There's a little bullet there which meant for only one shot left. You probably can't see it, can you? If I zoom in on that view, there's a little bullet there. Okay, now see this green outline. Look, see the green outline? Okay, it extends all the way to all on this side of things. Okay, but then there was a red. Oh shoot! Sorry, where are you? I lost that now. Hilarious. Wanted to see if there was a red outline. I haven't screenshot probably. There's a red outline all the way across here and down this side, and the green began the level playing field. Now he uses green for bullishness, okay, as in like green markets. So we've got gold in September, or rather a gold streak through them, and October is a big X. I don't know if that's like a big crash. And then you've got the pirate symbols in November, and then no symbols in December, and then this little bullet here, only one shot left. So, okay, that's the first one covered, and we're not going to go any further than that, but we're going to lay out the foundations that we can see, that we know that there are 4 of these images to go over. They run in this order. I'm going to connect them in another video to the Bearable Guy's work, and I'm going to show you his main scenes. I'm going to have a look at maybe how we can compare them. But for now, that's the first dive for you on all these images. We've looked at smokes and mirrors. We've kind of done a slight covering on that. That'll be a good intro for today. We're going to keep the shorts 31 minutes long already, so I'm going to cut this here. Anyhow, I hope this has been a good, useful introduction to the Ripple Riddler's images, and it gives us an idea of, okay, what's to expect in the next few weeks. We've looked at the final broadcast by the Riddler himself, and by the way, also we think he's popped up on a new channel here, which is at 12,000 XRP. Worth a look. I'll leave it at that. Please give the video a like. Please give the video a subscribe, the channel a subscribe even, and drop me a comment. That'd be pretty cool. Anyhow, look forward to seeing you all in the video. Have a lovely Sunday, whatever you're doing. Okay, be blessed.